Back here at the 2022 Honda Classic as the defending champion.
Yeah, it's amazing. To be a defending champion at any event is fantastic. Doesn't happen too often on the PGA Tour for a lot of golfers, but to be associated with this golf tournament and be a defending champion of this tournament that's been around for so long is great.
And you're off to a good start in the calendar season, third in Hawaii, and coming off a top 15 finish last week. Just kind of assess the state of your game heading into the week.
Yeah, it's been good all year. I haven't putted the best, and that would show on my stats. But if I can figure that out, I'm looking forward to this week. And it's always a test and a battle out here, so it's more of a course where you just try and battle along and just make pars, make a couple of birdies here and then, and limit your mistakes. And that's what I did last year, and hopefully I'll do this year.
Okay, we'll take a few questions. Start with Steve.
There hasn't been a whole lot of wind on the PGA Tour this year. Do you put in any extra effort getting ready for this tournament, knowing that there probably will be wind?
No, I'm used to the wind. I've normally performed well in the wind in the past, and over in Australia growing up in the wind. You'll just try to lower your ball flight a little bit, which actually helps me. I like to hit a lower ball flight naturally. I'm not a high ball flight hitter, so historically I would say the more wind the better for me.
Good.
And I'm writing about the other bear trap, holes 5, 6, and 7,
Okay.
which played tougher than the bear trap last year and on many other years. Can you talk to me about how difficult, what makes that stretch so difficult?
Well, the tee shot on 5 is very difficult, especially with how where the wind comes from. A lot of the time, we have it off the left. Trying to work it into it, you pull it, you're in the hazard, you block it right, and then the green to get up and down is not easy. 6 is probably the toughest hole on the golf course, I think, especially with that tee shot. You got to try and take on the water, but if you come out of it, you're in the bunker or in the rough, and then that green's just really hard. To two-putt, to get close to the pin's very tough, especially when they have the greens at 13 and they're really firm, which where they probably will be this year. And then 6 is always the 7 is just a very tough par 3 as it is as well. The wind hitting that green in reg and the pin locations, it's a big long green too, so it's hard to get close to the pins anywhere there.
Does it get into your head like the bear trap?
It probably doesn't, because like on 7, there's not the threat of the water and making a big number that quickly. You can make bogey easily, but there's not the threat of the big number and then having to hit again from a tee when you've got the hazard right there again, like on 15 and 17. They do it on the bear trap.
Shane?
Matt, oh my, it's a loud microphone. As a longtime PGA Tour guy, I guess the way I want to introduce this question is by asking, do you feel loyalty to the PGA Tour itself?
I've been out here this is my 15th year. I've had a great career out here. It's something that I've always wanted to do growing up as a kid. It's been a lifelong dream of mine, and I am very happy to be out here. I know where your question's coming from, and I have no affiliation. I've never spoken to the Saudis. I don't know anything that's going on. Loyalty is probably not the word, but it's a mutual happiness for me to be out here representing the PGA Tour, and for me to be allowed to be out here to play on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. And obviously the reason I'm asking that question, as you pointed out, was the Saudi stuff. And somebody who's had a career like you've had, let's say this happened 20 years ago and there was this big schism in the PGA Tour and some other league, it could have had a huge effect on how somebody like you made a living, for instance. And I'm curious, looking at it from that perspective, how do you feel about this idea that there's a sort of bridge burning perhaps going on with people thinking about leaving?
Look, everyone has their right to look at it, to decide. I can't really comment on it because I have no idea of the financials and what. There's been so much talk about this person was getting offered this. I have never had any first-hand experience dealing with them or talking to them, so I'm really not a point I can talk about it because I don't really know what was going on with it.
Fair enough.
Go ahead.
A couple off-topic ones. If you would please, in 2014 when you won the Houston Open, did you get a letter from Arnie? And what did it mean to you?
I honestly can't remember. I've thought about this because I can't remember if I did. I'd have to go to my files. So that's probably a bad answer, but I really can't remember if I did.
Okay.
If I did, it would be phenomenal and amazing.
And for the following week's story I'm working on, most people say that the tee shot at TPC Sawgrass at 17 is the scariest. I want to find out what's the second scariest tee shot on that golf course and why.
I mean, it's not that scary, but it's really hard. Is that tee shot on 8, the par 3. But as for scariness, there's not many other scary holes like there is on 17. I mean, 17, it's just grass or water. That's all you have. Out on the other holes, there's always a side you can miss something on, so it's not that scary. Depending on the wind, the tee shot on the other par 3, I actually find number 13. That can be somewhat of a tough tee shot, especially with that bowl and goes straight into that hazard. But as for a tee shot that would be somewhat scary, 18. I forgot about the 18. That's there you go. That's really the one that would stand out as the second hardest.
What makes it so difficult?
There is no miss. Literally, it's hazard, or if you're in the right rough, you really can't get access on that green because of how fast and it slopes straight into the water. You have to just lay it up. But you've really got to clutch up and hit a great shot there on 18.
Everybody good? All right, easy enough. Sorry about the audio issues.
No
but
worries
we're
at all.
We're all good.
Thank you.
Have a good week.